Hi, I'm here at the border, the port of entry. I drove from Napa, California. I'm here on behalf of my son from Napa, California. I grew up here in San Diego and in Napa, and I was married to a woman in the Army, and her father was kidnapped in San Diego by the Arellano Felix cartel and murdered and thrown on the body. His body was thrown on the freeway not far from here, right? Later on, I would marry a woman, we have a child, and for obvious reasons, I took exception to her taking my son into the frontera. She was taking him into different places and to where the Arellanos are the Arellanos still in power in Tijuana, or are they completely demolished? Because I know they're not as strong as they used to be.
I mean, I would have information about that, sir.
Okay. If you were a father, would you like having your father, your first wife's father, murdered and kidnapped by the Arellanos? Would you want your child to go into Tijuana?
I wouldn't be able to answer that question, sir.
That's a hard one. Yeah, I know. Is there still a lot of counter-border violence in Tijuana? Is there a lot of violence still in Tijuana right now? I haven't been here for years. I just drove down here because next week there's a guy named Joseph Solga. He's a judge, and he wiped away the protection measures put in place by another judge named Victoria Wood in Napa. She said, based on what I've seen, you can't take this guy's kid to Mexico because if he's killed, it's on me. That's a Napa judge. There's now, that judge retired. There's a new judge, and they just granted my wife all this power last week to take my son into Mexico despite all the murders and kidnappings that have happened in our family. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm down here for acumen and to see what's still going on in Tijuana, because next week I got to go into battle in the Napa County and be like, hey, you need to hold that order in place to protect my son.
So what is your question one more time?
Is Tijuana still what it used to be? Because I hear different things like, oh, Tijuana's not like what it once was. You know, the Arellanos aren't in power anymore, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I can't roll the dice on my son's life like that, you know?
Yes. I wouldn't be able to answer that question, sir.
I know, that's a hard one because that would be an opinion, right?
Correct.
What about, well, statistically, y'all are here. I live in Napa. It's 525 miles away. Does it seem like it used to be?
I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
Oh, that, I get it. Okay. Well, hey, what's up? So, I'm here. I came all the way from Napa. I'm here to protect my son. They fucking kidnapped my first wife's father. They fucking tortured him, murdered him, and threw him on the freeway here. Now, Joseph Solga wants to just wipe that away, what Victoria Wood already put in protection. I got out the military. I was in the Army. I deployed to go save human life from people that were being murdered in other countries. And I come here and I ask Napa fucking County to protect my son's life, and they're over here playing fuck around games. So here I am. I said, I'll do what I got to do to protect my son. So I'm right here at the border. I'm here. I took you to where my first wife's father was murdered and all those other murders. And I got to go back to Napa County pretty soon. And I got to beg them, despite everything I've done, everything I put before the court for her to put that order in place, and beg them not to take my son into fucking Murderville, where their piece of shit brother, who's a dropout, debriefer, trying to be a fucking narco, going into fucking TJ, and they were taking my son. That's why the judge said, nope, I cannot in good conscience let you take this guy's kid into Mexico, because if he's murdered, it'll be on me. But Joseph Solga, last week, he wiped that clean. Despite the ex parte request and the danger is still imminent. They have a responsibility, so let's run this shit.